One, the only Stevie Nicks, and her first album that she's put out in 10 years. It's coming out this spring. She gave me an autographed copy of it. She sent it to my house. Here with Carrie Kasem. I am very privileged and honored and excited to be interviewing Stevie Nicks. I've been a huge fan of yours for a very long time. And it's just great being able to talk to you off mic a little bit. So how you doing?
Good.
We were talking about the Rod Stewart Stevie Nicks Heart and Soul tour, and I was saying that, you know, a lot of tours, they feel forced, the artists together, and when I heard this one, I went, wow, this is one of those packages you want to go see. It must feel like that for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's, when you think about it, Rod Stewart was hugely famous before Lindsay and I ever moved to Los Angeles. Because we came to LA in 71, so
he was already doing Faces. Yeah, the Faces.
A big star.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, he's definitely one of those iconic inspiration guys who I learned a lot from. I sang along with him, and I never saw him in concert, which is wild. But I haven't either. When you're always playing, who has time to go see concerts, especially back then?
He's one of those that I have not seen. I have not seen you. I have not seen Bowie. I've not seen Rod Stewart. Some of my favorites, because I'm always on tour.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then when you are off the road, there's that time where you're home and you're like, someone's in town. You're like, I just can't go out. It's weird, right?
It is. Yeah. But you know what is also weird? I have to tell you, I was reading this, that you wrote a song from New Moon. Something inspired you in New Moon. That's, of course, one of my most favorite series. Stephanie Meyer is an incredible writer, but I got teased. They're like, you're too old to be reading that. I'm like, what? These are beautiful stories. What inspired you in New Moon to write?
Well, I'd seen the first movie, and I liked it, but I was on tour when I saw the first movie, so I saw it on TV, and I was
in the hotel room.
Yeah. It was not quite as big of a deal in the little television, and so I was in Australia, and I went to see it in November of 2009.
Yeah,
and I was very taken with it because I'd had a relationship that I think was very similar in a lot of ways a long time ago, where I was really, that part where she's sitting in the bay window and it goes October, November, December, that part is what really broke my heart. And I think it's because I really experienced that myself, and I could really relate to it. And that's when I decided that this woman was onto something with these stories. And then I went back and read the books.
Sixx here with Carrie Kasem, and we're hanging out with Stevie Nicks. And Stevie, I wanted to ask you, on the song Moonlight from the new record In Your Dreams, how did that whole process start? You just sit down and just start writing it, or did it just kind of come organically?
I don't ever really sit down to write a song. It just happened. There was I was in Brisbane, and there was a piano, and I wrote the whole song, and recorded it on a little tape recorder, and came back to Los Angeles with it. So that was the first song that we started on in last January, not this January, but last January when I started making this record.
All right, Nikki Sixx here with Carrie Kasem and Stevie Nicks. And Stevie, I just recently ordered the Midnight Special box set off of television, and I saw Fleetwood Mac doing that. Do you remember doing that?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think if it's the one, is it Rhiannon? Is it Go Your Own Way?
Yeah. It's both.
Yeah.
Both. You did too. I must have been done the same night.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Steven Tyler, because Aerosmith was on one of them too, and he was like going, he was so nervous, and it was like, first real opportunity for rock bands to get on television.
Right.
To get that kind of big pop to the mass media, which, now isn't an issue anymore.
After you saw her performance, you came in and actually talked about it. I remember that. You were very excited about it.
And I was telling my kids about, where, you came from, and Lindsay, and a little bit of the history of Fleetwood Mac before. And, they're all ears because they love music. And it started like getting into the whole thing, and then how it blew up and the whole thing. And they were fascinated with it and seeing that stuff. All right, we've been talking to Stevie Nicks. I am Nikki Sixx. I'm here with Carrie Kasem. Fireball's hanging out with us. Fireball, a little bit scared of Stevie, sitting in the corner, being real quiet. Her new album is coming out, In Your Dreams. First album in 10 years. And she's an amazing songwriter. I bet she's got a catalog of 50, 60, 100 songs to pick from, because she's always writing, from what I've heard.
Right.
She's also going to be touring with Rod Stewart, who's another legend. Rod Stewart and Stevie Nicks together. Imagine all those hits in one night.
It's a lot of hits.
No plans of that have been made. I did go there, and I spent many hours there watching them film a show, or at least a part of a show.
Right.
And it was great. They were doing one of my songs, and I was told that they were doing one of my songs, and I asked, do they film here? Because I didn't know if they filmed in New York or in LA, and they said, no, they do film here. And so I said, can I go? And they said, sure, you can go if you want. And the greatest thing about that whole day was that Leah Michelle said to me, nobody's ever, and we've done a lot of people's songs on this show since we started this show. Nobody has ever shown any interest in coming down here and watching us sing their song, or even calling us and saying, I'm so glad you're doing the song. Because of course they have to kind of get an okay. Not really. It's out. So whatever
they do,
they call you and say, but nobody has ever gone down there to watch. Nobody has ever,
That's
author of
unbelievable.
any of the songs have ever shown any interest in the fact that we're doing their songs.
It must have made them feel so good.
It did. It made them feel really good.
And to see somebody
really
else's
happy.
interpretation of your creativity.
Yeah. And I was just really happy that they were happy that I was there, that it meant something to them, Yeah. And I'm just, and they're all very dear. I really loved all of them. I loved everybody. And I was just sad for them that more interest from the actual music that they are promoting on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
if they're doing, and I'm not, I always think of Jesse's Girl because I loved their rendition of it. And my dad's name was Jess, my grandfather's name was Jesse. And so I'm like, one of them piped up and said, so you really are Jesse's Girl? And I said, well, yeah, I really am. And I said, it was, when I realized they were going to sing that song, I was going, oh, this better be good.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Because this is an iconic song. This better be good. And it was. It was excellent.
There's a lot of talent.
And and it's like, I would think that all the people that get to have that moment on this huge television show would come out of the woodwork a little bit more, and I think they all should. So you should all take interest, take
I'm going to
notice
stand corrected right now.
What is going.
Because whenever we've licensed our music to any of these shows, I've never actually, it's never even clicked in my brain. Go down. I remember when Carrie Underwood did Home Sweet Home.
Right.
And I was so excited that I think she did a great version, but I never thought about going down to the taping.
Yeah.
Well, think about it, how much it means to us if somebody does.
Absolutely.
It's Carrie Kasem. It's a Sixth Sense, and we're back with Stevie Nicks. And I was just wondering, do you get paid when they play or they sing your song on Glee? Because I know that they just had a Glee compilation. It's now bigger than, I guess, Elvis. They're saying that now they've sold more CDs than Elvis sold records. I was just reading this, yesterday.
I think the writer.
I get Stevie's money, actually, because they got our names confused.
Right, exactly. I think the writer always gets paid.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
The writer is king.
I see.
The writer gets paid.
Okay.
Always.
Hey, Nikki Sixx Sense, and we're back with Stevie Nicks, and I have one last question for you. I'm ready to fight about this one, actually. Why are you not on Twitter and Facebook? Because I love following people that I look up to, and so I'm curious why you're not. Just because I want to follow you.
Okay, because I don't have a computer.
This is by choice.
This is by choice. I don't
Facebook.
I don't Twitter. I don't MySpace.
There's still time.
There's parts of the art part of the computer thing that I would probably enjoy learning, but there's just a very old school part of me that really doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And really it's just because, and don't get me started, I just think that the computer world and the internet world, I know it has a lot of great things about it, and the information highway and the library at your fingertips, but I think that the internet in general is ruining our society, and I think it's ruining our children, and I think it's making everybody rude.
I'll tell you,
and I just don't like it.
I
don't like it. I think it's making all the wonderful things that people have from here It's killing it.
You know what I've talked to my kids about? I go, everyone's living in a little like 4-inch by 6-inch box, like walking around like this. And I'm like, I'm right here.
Right. It's like,
I'm
you know, I mean, have you ever said to them, do you know who I am?
Yeah. Where I say,
do you know how many people would love to talk to me?
Yeah.
And you are like
my kids
this.
Don't care.
You're like this.
Yeah.
You have a lot of experience to share with them. That's what I say to my kids.
And it's like, are you just totally just live in this box where you're, you know, you don't have, and I think it's the reason why relationships fail. And I think it's the reasons why nothing lasts. And I think it's the reason why nobody can meet anybody. I think it's all responsible for that because nobody's out there. Nobody's going out, and for the little ones, nobody's going out to play. Nobody's going for the ones our age. Nobody's going out nobody's putting themselves in a place where you might meet somebody. And everybody our age, or unless you just got married 5 years ago, you know, everybody's going to be divorced and come around again. So the whole world's going to be back on the market at some place. But nobody will go out.
And everybody's socially inept.
Everybody's socially inept.
Absolutely.
A lot of people have relationships on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
And never meet the person that they're having this relationship. That's the only way they can feel intimate.
Or when they are together, really, they have nothing. When they are physically together, they really don't have a lot to say to each other.
Yeah.
So it is becoming the new face of romance, which equals nothing.
Yeah. Stevie, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.